You are now tuned in to the Sultan podcast, where our purpose is cultivating leaders and our focus is spirituality, divine masculine, and leadership. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the power of purpose.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Emerald Stone.
I'm Bliss.
I am Blue Lotus, triple threes, emphasis on the threes, eternally. Give thanks.
This is King Ra. Bless.
Yes.
All right, so today, y'all. Today we're gonna discuss a very powerful topic, and as our brother King Bliss, Sultan Bliss, mentioned so beautifully, it's the power of purpose. And when we're speaking about purpose, we're speaking about that which answers the questions: who am I and why am I here? Or as we were talking about, your why. Because as leaders, we're people that need to have a why, because if we're leading people in a specific direction, then they have to know where they're going. And as we said, why are they going? So I wanted to start off here with a few questions. First question is, what is purpose? And maybe we can open up the floor to that. What is purpose? Does anyone have a answer for that one?
Yes, indeed. Purpose to me is when you feel a certain just energy, a certain feeling. It's a knowing. It's something that you know, but you don't know simultaneously, but you trust. It's an intuition that's just piercing your solar plexus, your stomach, and you just go with it. You trust it, and it resonates with your passion, the purpose. It's infused as one. It's very powerful, and you trust in that, and you become that. Allow it to become you, and follow through. And I feel that's definitely a good definition of purpose. Is trusting why you're here to begin with.
MashaAllah.
Definitely.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I feel like purpose is an inclination, a natural organic inclination to share the infinite self.
That's powerful.
Beautifully worded, my brother.
Indeed.
You out here spitting poetry, man.
Right? Oh man. Yeah.
You should hear throat chakra vibrating.
He think because he got a turtleneck on, you know what I'm saying? He got smooth.
Yeah, looking clean though. Clean Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Clean Ra. Yes indeed.
How about you, King Bliss?
Yeah. I was gonna say purpose. It's what you feel your calling is. It's what drives you. It's what wakes you up. More specifically, it's how you exist to serve. And it's just what you feel like you're here to do. As King Blue said, and yeah.
That's amazing. If we look at purpose, we also, and what you just said, King Bliss, you said is how you exist to serve. Without service, there is no purpose. Without there is no purpose. Everything in this universe is serving in some way, one way or another. We're in a room, for those of us who are watching it visually. We all have lights. The lights are serving us purpose. Our clothes are serving their purpose. Our eyes, our mouths, our ears, everything is serving in one way. So when we're speaking about purpose, we're really speaking about how we exist to serve. But if we had to put it simply, which we I love simplicity. They say intelligence.
1, 2, 3 ABC.
That's right. They say intelligence is your ability to simplify a given situation. Kind of like how Einstein is able to see all those problems he'll take many numbers on a board and shrink it down to E equals MC squared.
Yeah.
That's the power of simplicity. So, purpose as a reason for being. Answering the question, who am I and why am I here? And I think everyone here has a firm understanding of their purpose. pretty much. Mine is motivating self-awareness. I know,
Mine's
Rob.
emanating bliss.
Yeah, Bliss, what was yours?
Emanating bliss.
Mm.
Giving off.
Mine is expanding awareness
Mm.
in all formalities in a multitude of levels that everyone can identify with on a universal, multidimensional aspect, like on that type of level.
Mm.
Mm.
How about you, King Ra?
Mine is empowering minds.
Mm.
And
How,
what I wanted to ask you, King M, is that what is the etymology of purpose? Is there etymological meaning for purpose?
okay, well, fortunately, we're doing this on Zoom, which I have my laptop with me.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
So,
King Rod,
that
the Aquarian mind.
Yes.
ooh,
Today.
let's see. Per Okay. So purpose, it has its etymology in the old French proposer or pourposer
Mm.
or
Huh.
purpose. And it means let's see. It comes from the word propose.
I'm loving the precise
Yeah.
pronunciations.
Wow. Okay.
Purpose comes from propose.
Oh, it's propose.
Propose. Yeah. That's a whole
Pro,
different. Wait a second.
When
That's a whole
you
different
Hmm.
angle.
proposer.
propose to your
Yeah.
significant other.
Even in the English, it's taken from propose, because you know how sometimes when you have the etymology, it'll take two languages and mix them together. So
Right.
it has purpose and propose in English, and you blend those together, and the word purpose comes out. So what are you
Almost like,
proposing to life?
yes, that's what I'm thinking.
I
You're
serve.
proposing, so I'm
That's even
married.
better.
I'm
That's
married.
even better.
Oh,
Word. That's
I'm
even,
Propose.
married.
Like,
yeah, the plot thickens. I like that because now I feel with that, it's like,
mhm.
yo, you're reflecting towards the universe. Like, yo, I'm here to serve and teach Buddhism or Islam or
Right.
healing arts of Reiki, yoga, meditation, poetry, any art form of expression, whether it be singing, dancing, so on and so forth. You know, and it's like you're showing up for yourself and you're showing the universe, like, yo, I am the purpose. I feel the purpose. I know the purpose. And it's
Yeah.
like you just mirror and reflect that synergy, and you make that connection with yourself, with your reflection. I
Yes,
Mm.
it's
love
like
that.
the
Yeah.
contract you're signing, with your spirit and with the world, that you're consciously signing. You
Indeed.
already signed to the spirits, but it's like what you're consciously signing as a human being that you want to fulfill, you carry out here. So I love that.
Yeah.
Proposing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because what in proposing and purpose, the etymology being to propose. So it's like you're proposing, or you're married to your purpose. You're married to this meaning that you've created from
Mm.
this feeling. What's interesting is that can you also you can also be divorced. You can also get divorced, right?
Mm.
So it's like you can always, I feel like you can always get divorced from the purpose that you feel in the moment, but you cannot disconnect from the feeling of service.
Mm.
Hmm.
So although my purpose may change, the feeling of there being a purpose never changes. So it's basically like, how do you feel about because what I was reading Where the Superior Man by David Data, right? Actually it's actually right here, Where the
Hmm.
Superior Man. And he was talking about how in different parts of your life you will have different areas of purpose. You'll have a purpose, let's say the purpose that you have at 16 is not the purpose that you have at 20, is not the purpose that you have at
Mm.
25 and 30, but that each purpose that you fulfill and then shed will gain light for the deeper understanding of of your larger cosmic purpose.
Mm.
What do you feel about that?
Mm.
I would say I would respectfully disagree with him, not with you, but with him in regard to in regard to having different purposes. Because I guess when I say purpose specifically, just personally, I'm speaking about that larger cosmic purpose that's interwoven into everything. Like, so as you grow, your purpose doesn't change, your understanding of what your purpose is changes. So because
Mm.
because the way that you perceive things now and in the next moment and in the next moment, you know, may not be the same as you did before. So I would say that the
Yeah.
purpose does not change because there's one you. You know what I mean? There is one you. And, you know, though you are a collection of DNA and ancestors and all of these things come together to create this one you. So there's that one reason for being that flows through. So I would say that when you're dealing with purpose, you're speaking about that which is encoded in you to fulfill naturally.
Indeed.
I see what you're saying, brother.
Respectfully, I not with you. I'm just talking about with you know what I mean, with the author.
Definitely, and for me, I agreed with him, but I love how you elaborate on it because that gives me the idea that the purpose is always the same, but it's a refining of it. So it's not quote unquote a different purpose, but it's the same purpose from satisfied from a different perception perspective. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And so you can't ever. It's like almost to say, like we said, propose till death do us part. You
Right.
know what I mean? You get divorced from your purpose till death do us part. So you are finding, even if you, let's say, even if you get, let's bring this back to relationship. If I even get divorced from my wife, there's still a feeling that I need to connect to a feminine. So although I can disconnect from the human epitomization of marriage and that proposing, I can never disconnect from the natural inclination to be connected to a feminine.
And that's
Mm,
the true marriage
mm.
between the masculine and feminine. You know,
Mm,
even you know, even as men, if we are connect with the divine feminine, those of us inclined to that, uh, we're really marrying or getting with the same person in a way because
Mm-hmm.
it's different representations of the one divine feminine aspect.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
she would be the divine feminine would signify the all encompassing purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The women the women that you're with in between time would
yeah,
signify different understandings and layers of understanding to your purpose until you reach that one.
And lessons as well. I just wanted to add that in there.
Yes.
Everything you're saying for real.
Thank
And to just further elaborate on that, you know, it's like a video game, like level one, level two, level three, level four. Like this is a video game, you know, and we're here to serve a purpose. Some people may find it at earlier stages in their lives, some people later, but we're all here for a purpose.
yes.
You
yes,
know, we're going to be challenged, we're going to be tested by law of polarity and duality of really how bad we really want to serve the purpose,
mm,
Yes.
you
And
know, and that's a part of the human experience and journey. But go ahead, you could further elaborate, brother
oh
Emerald.
no, I just wanted to add to what you were saying because the ultimate purpose is to serve source, the divine.
Indeed,
Because purpose
indeed.
purpose is service. So
Mm-hmm.
service of what? It.
Mm-hmm.
It.
And I feel like
The
along our
megabyte,
journey,
God, whatever you got for it.
yeah, no, I was gonna say along our journey, it's like we're just expressing what we know as our purpose as far as what knowledge and experiences we've accumulated along the way, until we get to that one point where it all comes together and makes more sense. And then we can consciously move forward knowing our purpose or choosing to consciously be aware of our purpose.
Yes. Yo, I love
Mm,
that you said that.
mm.
I love that you said that.
Yes, yes,
We're
yes.
unfolding our
Word.
purpose
Hit the
anyway.
nail right on the head.
Right,
Bing.
Yeah, we're
right.
unfolding our purpose anyway. That's why I always say the difference between spirituality and consciousness is that spirituality is the essence of being. You playing your purpose's role naturally. You just being it. Like, can you find somebody that's not? They're playing it. However, consciousness is you being aware of it. Then when
mm,
you're aware of your spirituality, of your essence, of your being, then you can then guide it in a specific
Mhm.
direction. You know?
Mm,
Get your
mm,
superpower.
You know,
mm,
what I find interesting about purpose is that as you start fulfilling your purpose, you start to gain this type of aura, this type of
Mm,
directedness that is instantly seen. within your being, within the things that you create, with the people that you attract to yourself. But
Mm.
what I feel that men are, or young men, or even me, in my experience, the mistake we make, right, is that we start fulfilling of our purpose, right? So in this fulfilling of our purpose, we become magnetic. Our vibration higher, and we start gaining attention because fulfilling your purpose is something that is not the quote unquote norm, especially to the degree of attention that you give your purpose, right?
Hmm.
And correlating it
Yeah.
with divine feminine, you start to gain the attention of feminine because they see the natural, they see the masculinity, the divine masculinity that start to exude from you because you are living within your purpose, you are living in order and organization. So they start to see that, they're attracted to that. But here's the problem. Men get confused because, not confused, but get distracted because, okay, you're following your purpose. You start to admit magnetism, right? A feminine sees you, she's attracted to the mission, the purpose that you gain from that magnetism. You turn away from your purpose and start focusing more on the feminine than the mission. And then she loses attraction for you because she sees that you're not focusing on your mission anymore. Can anyone speak on that experience?
You
Mm.
you
Wait,
lost.
can I play devil's advocate and further elaborate? Now, let's say if she's actually a part of the purpose of
Hmm.
the learning lesson.
Hmm.
I mean, she always is.
He always is.
I was about to say she always
Uh-huh.
is.
You lost a love for something higher. See, the attraction that she had for you was because you had a love. Because this is actually what we got to get into, which is how to discover your purpose, which is the next question. But like,
Hmm.
you had a love connected to something higher, and
Right.
that is what gave you your magnetism because it wasn't flowing from you, it was flowing through you, and you made
Exactly.
that connection.
Correct.
So when
Correct.
she got into
Indeed.
that, she's like, "Yo, this person's connected. I don't know how, but it feels like they're connected to God."
Right.
Like, you know, I feel like they're connected. And
Yes.
But
the
birds of a
second,
feather flock together.
yes,
But go ahead.
and the second you left the creator for the creation was when she was like,
Mm.
I don't
Come
know.
on here.
I like
but
that. I like that. I
but
like that. Yes, indeed.
with
That's
that,
why it's
Food for
important though
thought.
for the feminine to also have their own purpose and be aware of their purpose.
yes,
So they won't play into
Indeed.
the
That
whole being
intuitive reflex.
distraction. She'll
and
more so be like the womb to your purpose, you know, as the masculine, giving your purpose and your dreams to that womb, and she just cultivates it kind of and always keeping you on track, reminding you, you know.
Yes,
the
yes.
purposes must match, even with business. You must know
Mm,
your own personal
Yes.
purpose. You must have the purpose of
Yes.
your relationship. You must have the
mm,
purpose of
Hmm.
everything. You must know why. Because if I don't have a purpose, then why am I doing this? Why am I
Yeah,
here?
yeah, what am I doing?
But,
What
but
am I doing?
Correct.
What have we been doing here? You know what I mean?
what is the purpose of the
And
relationship?
yeah,
but
like
sometimes we don't want to look at that because we just
Mm,
we want to look at, as brother M said and so beautifully articulated. You said we look at the creation instead of looking at the creator.
Hmm.
That's beautiful, you know. But
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's the tag or something.
Hmm.
that's my
Wow.
father talking. My father, that's my father talking. You know what? With speaking with regard to this knowing a purpose, the question here which we had laid out from the city sultan was how to discover your purpose,
Hmm.
which is something that's very powerful because I actually have a service to teach a class on purpose discovery, finding your purpose, and
Hmm.
what needs to be done. But what I can say, you know, for those interested in the class and those uninterested, is that when you're talking about finding your purpose, you're looking into you. Purpose comes from
Right.
your heart. The understanding or overstanding of purpose, understanding comes from the heart. That's where you feel it in here.
Hmm.
So it's about looking into your heart because when you're talking about purpose, it's like it's something that has to be discovered. Like, and when the word discover just implies that there was a cover on it, you just had to look inside. It's like Christmas. You just like,
Revelation.
yeah, and then
Mhm.
it becomes a gift that keeps on giving. So it's an
Hmm.
introspection that is very, very required to be done before the purpose can actually be revealed. So,
Yeah, take
So
some look.
I want to actually discuss that, brother Emmett, and let me know if you agree or not. I was reading How to Find Your Why by Simon Sinek, the one who wrote Start With Why. And How to Find Your Why, he discusses that to discover a why, that you have to, and the easy steps are, is find someone who can, who you can share your stories with, right? And these are stories that are specific, that are emotional, and that help you become who you are, right? And sharing your stories with someone, this person has to be someone who is objective, so that they don't put any interpretation on the stories that you're sharing, and it can also actively listen, so they can see your verbal and your nonverbal cues and the emotions that speak from your words as opposed to the words themselves,
Mm.
right? After that person listens to your stories, they they pick out the recurring themes between the stories, and then from the recurring themes, you choose the contribution and then the impact, and that will be your why statement, right?
Mm.
That's
Mm.
just a simple synopsis of what he says. That's how to discover your why. What do you think about that?
Well, I could say definitely when you're talking about purpose, you're talking about service for self, others, and a higher cause all at the same time. Because, you know, if you serve yourself, and only yourself, is just selfish. If you just serve others, you know, and not yourself, eventually, you know what I mean? You leave yourself out, you won't be able to serve others in a higher cause. And if you just serve the higher cause, and that includes self and others at the same time. So, definitely, it does have to do with other people. And personally, like as someone who teaches this stuff, I do serve as that reflection. I ask the right questions to serve as a mirror to draw out of you what you have inside of you, and then I
Mm,
let you come up with the words
yeah,
within a specific system. So now, when you're talking about impact, really the impact is left into other components of the purpose system. However, purpose is something that you'll be being about no matter what the impact is.
yes,
Like if I affect a million people or one person with this, it's still going to be, it's still going to happen, but as a service. So
yeah.
the service aspect is going to be there, but the idea of impact is definitely a part of it. So I do agree, um with
But what do you think about someone else, you not being able to see your purpose in its totality, because you cannot see the themes, because you're looking at it too closely. You can't look at it objectively. For example, it's like I'm it's almost as if I'm too close to the pattern to see the ripples.
because you're in it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for example, you saying that it is my service to help people discover their purpose. Do you feel that it's always an external thing and finding your purpose, or that you can find your purpose within yourself?
Well, I would say that we're all puzzle pieces, you know what I mean, to each other, to the grand picture. So sometimes we do need to look in the mirror of another person, you know,
Mm,
and maybe, and yes, I do feel that it could be found. I don't think that that's like a set rule that you just can't find it by yourself.
yeah.
I think that most definitely you could, and you could come to a simple understanding of that, which is why we simplify it so much. But I think also that if you have a guide, it'll make it that much easier. A guide who's honest and a guide who is actually skilled. If you have a guide, it becomes much easier because now they get to pick out the things that you can't see. So I think both ways would work. I think
Mm,
both ways. You can do it by yourself, but it would be easier if you had someone with you.
definitely, definitely. Okay.
And I want to further elaborate on that because, with that being said, I just wanted to metaphorically say that would be like you following the breadcrumbs that you know resonates with you. Like if a particular song plays on the radio at a particular time, let's say 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, and you're thinking of someone or something, then I feel that would basically be a synchronicity for someone in their reality as far as their purpose
Mm.
and what they're here to do. Just follow the little breadcrumbs that resonates within internally and externally, whatever makes sense to that individual. It could be something minor or major, but something that they can distinguish that's significant towards them, that they can identify and under and overstand.
You know what I love about Lotus?
Mhm.
he he's a master at peeping out synchronicities.
Mm.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Whoops.
Tell everybody. Nah, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool.
No,
Good,
but
thanks, King. I appreciate that. I
be,
appreciate that.
of course,
Very
of source.
Indeed.
It's
So
not that
I
it's
like
not that synchronicities don't happen. It's that our awareness is which is what we're growing in, is it's happening all the time. We're just
yeah.
becoming more aware of the fact that it's happening, just like we're becoming more aware of our purpose. So did anybody else have a explanation on uh what how you can find or discover your purpose?
Yeah, I feel like what was said a few times, like the purpose is something that we're naturally living in already, and it just comes to a point of recognizing what it is. And I feel like in order to recognize what it is, like you said, King Emerald, it's like knowing your passion, it's kind of similar to like going inside and looking in yourself. So being aware of what you're passionate or something that you're good at, could be even as simple as what others tell you
Mm,
that you might be good at, what others see in you, like which was said. So it's kind of just like a reiteration of it. But yeah, and then once you are aware of those things because they've been pointed out and because you've seen within yourself, you know, and you claim it, then you have more confidence in it, and you'll be able to share your gift, with the world more easily. So yeah, just
See,
discovering it
I
is
think
a
that's
matter of just
important that you
being
said,
aware.
yo, you need to have a certain level of confidence to share your purpose because
Mhm.
purpose ain't coming to you if you scared. You feel what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Like purpose ain't coming to no scared. Like scared money don't make no money. So you
Fact.
you you come in and you're not gonna find your purpose if you don't show up. You know what I mean? If you don't put
Correct.
yourself out there, nobody, nothing is. Remember, it's coming through you. So
Right.
it's not going to manifest itself without. It's going to manifest itself without in the degree that you manifest yourself within. You know what I mean? And
Correct.
you put that
Indeed.
attention out there too. You know what? I want to learn my purpose because I am tired of going through my life in this type of aimlessness. Because what young men we like to do is distract ourselves. When we
Mm.
know within ourselves that we don't have purpose, you know what? I'm gonna distract myself with this relationship. I'm gonna distract myself with too much consumption of this food. I'm gonna distract myself with this TV series. I'm gonna distract myself with this porno. I'm gonna distract myself with this you know what I mean? Like you and these are realistic things. This is real talk. You feel what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
if
indeed.
we have if people who are going to find your purpose, you have to know that you gotta put yourself out there. You can't be scared. Scared money don't make no money. And just think about the people who inspire you and think about everybody that you are inspired by has a purpose and felt reluctant initially to step within that purpose. And they had to push past that.
Mm.
Indeed. And that's just a form of being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm.
Mm,
That's growth.
Like that's it. Like if you really want something to go, you have to step outside your comfort zone. This way you can have newfound experiences. And then that can also be connected with your purpose. Maybe it's meant for you to come out that shell. At some point you have to come out that shell, realistically speaking.
Hmm.
So in that time, let's say a person is in solitude and they're doing their, let's say, meditation or whatever form of meditation, whether sewing, playing guitar, dancing, singing, whatever, they can find more of their purpose with them being in their natural vibration, their natural state that makes them feel at peace and at ease,
mm.
right.
but it's all a part of the purpose, I feel. It's all interconnected.
I love
Okay.
that. I love that.
All
Mm.
right.
Mm.
So here we got another question. Okay, so how has purpose realistically changed your life? So, so
Mm.
kind of like, say you didn't know your purpose at the time, whatever the case is, but just knowing that you were moving off of what your heart's inclination and desire was at the time, or say you did know your purpose, in knowing that, how has that changed your life?
I can definitely elaborate on that. With me, I remember years ago I told my mom that I belonged in Asia, and it was something I felt within my heart and my soul, deep within my crevice. And sure enough, I started to read up on Siddhartha Gautama, which is the Buddha from Nepal, certain
Mm,
Buddha quotes, and it's like, yo, these principles were just naturally, organically resonating with my soul, with my being, and it was simplistic yet effective. And that's just a part of my design. I love that. Something that has simplicity, but also is effective at the
mhm,
same time. So once I discovered the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the right intention, the right speech, the right action, the right effort, the right livelihood, the right mindfulness, the right concentration, and the right being, that's it. Everything just fell into place from
mhm.
there as far as my purpose of practicing Buddhism and learning more. And there's so much more, like it connecting with yoga and meditation. So
Mm.
it's like once I acquired all of these, you could say skills or just this awareness of being and it resonating with my soul, that was it. Like I knew like this was, it felt right. Once it
Yes.
feels right, then
Mm.
that's it. You just go with it and fuck whoever says whatever they want to say. It's your journey. Trust your
Yeah.
journey and be of service the way, as you know discussing soul contracts, you can kind of say, like, as far as why we're here to begin with, once again.
Mm.
That's powerful.
And by the way, imagine, yo, imagine as a mom, right? As a mom, your son coming to you and go, Mom, I belong in Asia. What?
Namyo Horengekyo, Namyo Horengekyo, Namyo Horengekyo.
Right now, you gotta go all the way to Asia. Which one you
Nah, but that's powerful right there, because that's a
It,
soul tie right there. If I hear my child say that,
Hey,
now as
hey.
conscious, you know what I mean, conscious as I am now, probably the earlier me would be like, what? But now, I think at the level that even this generation is reaching, it's like, that they're saying something powerful. How about you, King Ra? How has purpose realistically changed your life?
real purpose has realistically changed my life, and I'm gonna speak on like you said, on a realistic level. It's interesting because it has changed the nature of my thinking. I would
Mm,
say my thinking was distorted, and it clarified, because what we're all going to say is a derivative of that. It gave me a sense of clarity. But what I will say for me, in my perception perspective, is that my thinking became it came under one synergistic house. You know what I mean?
mm,
And the realistic things that started to happen, right? My my walk became strong.
Mm.
Like I started to walk, like I seen that the gait of my walk actually got stronger and my posture became more erect. I began to look people in the eyes more. Yeah, like it straightened up a
yeah,
little bit. I said,
take
"Oh
a
shit,"
step.
because it was like,
evolution.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here for something. I know why I'm here, as opposed
Mm.
to you when you don't know and when you're a little
Mm,
unsure. You kind
hiding.
of your shoulders kind of hunch a little bit. You kind of don't want to be seen
Mm,
because you don't even see
Mm,
yourself to an extent. You know what I mean? Or you don't see where
mm,
you're going, and you don't want anybody else to see that you were unsure. And so when I gained my purpose, I gained more confidence in myself. My posture became erect. It started coming off of my body language and my speaking. As I'm speaking to someone, I'm speaking to someone with this assuredness. And what it also did was it clarified things that I felt that were might have been a waste of my time, or why did that happen? Like, you know what I mean? For example, the experiences that I had in the past where I was like, man, that was a waste of time, or I didn't gain anything from that, or I didn't have to go through that. But once I gained my understanding of my purpose, I seen that what I went through was to make me more relatable, so that when I exuded my purpose, I had stories now. You know, like people resonate more with a failure than they resonate more with a success. You know what I mean? You resonate more with someone who's working the 9 to 5 and going through the struggles of the process, as opposed to somebody who's on the other side of it. So in me going through the actual experiential things, once I gain a clarity of my purpose, now I can speak from a place of passion. I can speak from a place of assuredness, surefootedness, and consciousness and confidence. And it shows itself in my posture. It shows itself in my body language. And I think that's something that young men who are coming into their purpose can look forward to, is that, yo, realistically, bro, your body language is going to change. Your body's going to look different. The shirt that you've been wearing for 3 years, all of a sudden, when you come into your purpose, yo, you look, that's a nice shirt. And it's not that the shirt got nicer, it's that the shirt fits you better, because now you stand straighter. Now you're more erect within yourself. Now you're exuding a type of healingness and divine masculinity, because you have a sense of order. Because what divine masculinity at the end of the day is having order and organization of thought, soul, and spiritually. You know what I mean? And so having that sense of order, it has an orderliness in your body. And then what also happens is that realistically, I started attracting more feminine, because they said, "Oh, he look like he know what he doing." You know what I mean? And because what that orderly looks like, it looks like an order of, it looks like you can take charge. And that's what feminine like. They like it. You can take charge. I can take charge of my life. I can take charge of myself, and I can take charge of you in the bedroom, baby. You know what I mean? But that's what realistically coming into your purpose does. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm gonna
Oh,
articulate
mashallah, that was beautiful.
Right, yo.
Do you remember?
Very well articulated, King.
Absolutely. Do you
Yes,
remember in the
Dang.
Matrix Reloaded, part 2, basically, where it was Neo, and he was in the backyard with the Oracle, who clearly lived, which I love the fact that the Oracle lived like in the project somewhere, like
facts. That was so
an
dope.
old black lady in the
Right.
projects in Brooklyn. Come on.
Right.
Y'all
Feeding
were
the birds, feeding the
feeding the
birds.
birds.
Camouflage.
Yeah. Come on, like they
Simplicity.
trying to go all the way over there and overseas, and over here she's over there in the peas. Come on.
Right.
So
That's
like,
duality.
but there was a part in that movie where Agent Smith comes again, like, Mr. Anderson. He pulls up. He says, like, yo, basically, like, I know you're wondering how I got here because you thought you disintegrated me in the first movie. He said, but I'm here because of purpose, Mr. Anderson. He's like, purpose, purpose, purpose. In other words, he keeps telling him that purpose is what brought him back. He doesn't even explain how he got back.
Right.
He just talks about how purpose got him back. And then I'm sure if you watch that movie again, you'll see it and be like, yo, wow, like I have to be here. I have to balance out the equation, because
Correct.
everybody playing their purpose, there's an antithesis out there that has a purpose that is also designed for them, that's playing the counter or the opposing or opposite of what you're here to do.
Facts. Big facts, brother. That's the law of polarity. Talk to him.
That reminds me of
Speak it, brother.
a quote that says, "Work as if someone is working against you 24/7." And I was like,
Exactly. And you know, honestly, like we recognize that, and we recognize that others there are opposing forces. However, however, we are not preoccupied, too preoccupied and too wrapped up in what they do. We see you, player. We see you, but however, we're so focused on what we doing. Like Drake said, he said, "You got to come to my side and see how we live." In other words, like I ain't gonna go over there and get lost up. Like some people, you know, like for instance, the people, and I ain't really into the whole politic thing, but some people were like, no Trump, no Trump, no Trump. They would put up rallies of no Trump, putting the exact thing that they say they didn't want. They kept on putting it out in the universe. Now you're supposed to recognize it, but where's the rallies for the things that we do want when we're actually constantly affirming the things that we do want as opposed to the things that we don't? So when you understand or overstand your purpose and understand your purpose is now more centralized in the idea of no longer creating competition. There's no more competition because I just have to be about this no matter what. So even if an opposing force comes, I'm already so prepared for it because I'm so in what I'm about that you'll be obliterated by the time you come within 2 feet. Because
So
I
what I
have to
love what you
maintain this resonance.
Wait,
what I love what you said is I love what you said. You said, "Yo, okay, yo, I see you, player." It connotating that this is a game. So I don't see you as opposing. I see you as another player in the game. I see you as an opponent, but not in a violent way, but just in a way of necessity. You know what I mean? Because if it wasn't Trump, it was just going to be another energy that embodies that same polarity.
Yes, and this doesn't mean, like I said, this doesn't mean call when injustice is there. If justice has to do with your purpose, you call out injustice. You know what I mean? And if it is within your purpose to obliterate injustice, if that's one of your missions within your purpose, you have to do so. So this doesn't mean like, oh well, I'm just gonna stay away. Like if I see somebody getting hurt, I ain't gonna no. That's not what it is. It's just not being preoccupied in their existence so much that their name or their ideology is coming out of your mouth more than yours and what you're here to do and be
Like you're
about.
so focused on that you forget about yourself.
Yes. Then serving them becomes your purpose.
Right. Unknowingly.
Unknowingly.
I wanted to pedal back and elaborate, Emerald, on basically you are in a sense your worst enemy. So you're training yourself. So when you have that polar opposite that comes to test you, you're already prepared for it because you know you're your best friend and you're your worst enemy on the dualistic polarity perspective. You know, so it's like it keeps you on your toes like a ballerina. You feel
And you've
me?
been
And it keeps you
preparing.
sharp.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And you've been
I just wanted to
preparing.
elaborate on that.
Absolutely. King Bliss, we didn't get your answer yet in regard to how has purpose realistically changed your life.
Yeah, for me, it definitely is put an awareness on where I'm putting my energy, where I'm putting my focus. You know, I've only been aware of what my actual purpose is, not for not too long, but since I've claimed it, like owned it, I feel charged, you know, and when I walk with that charge, it's like I'm only focused on things that resonate with that, you know, and it makes me more mindful of like my thoughts and feelings. So, you know, my purpose is emanating bliss. So if I'm not emanating bliss, I'll feel that. If I'm not feeling blissful, no matter what the situation is, I'm, you know, more in tune with that now. And like, since I've claimed it, it's just been really in the forefront of my mind and like in my being where it's just like, all right, does this go with what I want to give out into the world, you know? And if it doesn't, it's like, and the practice of that has just automatically been making things that don't serve my purpose to just naturally fall away, you know? So definitely awareness on my focus.
Oh, and what I love is that, yo, bro, it looked like it made you superhuman. Cause I don't know how the hell you got to that cold water. I don't know how the hell you got to that cold water, bro. I was like, you got to be in that, bro, just like
That
this.
was a lot of mental.
Bliss, bliss. I was like, bro, I was watching that, bro. I was like, son, because it already looked like it was cold up to you. When you went up to the neck, I was like, oh, no.
Yo, what you didn't see though was the first clip. The first clip, I went in and came out. Second clip, I was like, all right, you know
Behind
what?
the scenes.
I got this. No,
But
I
what
put my
happened?
toes in there,
wait
and
a
my
second. He
toes
said, no, I
became
need to
numb, bro.
emanate. Nah, and that's where the purpose came to mind. You said, you know what? Me jumping out this water, I'm not focused on my purpose enough of emanating bliss. So once you get that purpose, when you get that charge, when you jump back in, you said, I don't feel this cold. I feel my purpose. I feel bliss, emanating bliss. And I know that they're recording this right now. So I need to be an example of my purpose in this moment. So just
become formless.
Zen Master. Zen Master Bliss. See, that's his nickname. I call him Zen Master Bliss now.
Bro,
I mean,
listen,
we'll
bro.
talk about it later.
People are watching even when you don't know they watching, bro. We see you. I see you, bro.
See you, Kings. So
And that's you being selfless, which is you being of service, like Brother Ra and M, elaborated on.
Absolutely.
Once you do that, once you do that, that's it. It's like your cup runneth over. You feel me? And like your soul's cup, because you're playing your part. Purpose and service. Like Capricorn knows that very well. Once we know where we fit, we know where we belong, we know everything is in order. It's a structure, orderly fashion. If it's just like I said earlier, breadcrumbs, if 2 + 2 is giving me 4, and I'm seeing it in different translations and formalities, then I know I'm along the right path.
Ashe, mashallah. Within the Islamic paradigm, they say that so Allah has these 99 attributes, and one of them is al-wadud, the source of love. One of them is al-razak, the source of provision. Or like you have al-haq, the source of truth. So within Islam, people name their kids based on these 99 attributes. And so someone's name would be Abdul Rashid, right? Which is my sheikh's name. May Allah be pleased with him. Abdul Rashid means servant. Abdul, every time you see Abdul, it means servant. So servant of the guide. So he will then be that embodiment within the fractal of this life,
expression
of being an expression of being a guide, or he will,
I feel that.
or someone else will be Abdul Wadud, and they will get that name, they'll get that resonant frequency. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said if you give somebody a name, they will get a portion of that name.
Yes. I learned, I learned that you start to exude the vibration of your name.
Yeah.
Like there was one time where I wanted to clarify that, and I was in a room, and I asked everyone in the room their meaning of their names, and everyone who knew the meaning of their name was a literal physical embodiment of their name. Like it was like warrior king, servant of the people, God's angel. You know what I mean? And they were actually, and it was amazing because. And that's why when people name their kids, kind of just
anything
unintentionally, you know what I mean? Like if you name, for example, when you name your son Jacob, Jacob means liar. So what you were sitting there calling your son the entire time is liar, calling him that, and then you're surprised when he starts to exude that quality. You have to be very careful when you name your children or when you name yourself, because you know that the name connotates a vibration, it connotates a frequency, even if you're not conscious of it, which is why Malcolm X was not his original name. He changed his name. And why I feel like if you feel like your name does not resonate with you in the vibration you want to exude, you should definitely change your name once you gain, because in changing that name, you come into better clarification of your purpose. You know what I mean? I definitely want to speak on that. You know what I mean? A name is very, 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 very important. It's how you
vibration.
classify your entire.
Yeah, I was gonna So yeah, you attract a higher vibration once you're aware of the low vibratory translation of whatever word or noun adjective one wants to use. You know, the English language
Right.
is actually the worst language. We should be speaking in dialect. But
Yeah.
that's another can of
That's another.
worms we can
Yeah.
open for another
you
conversation.
know. So basically,
You know?
we brought up names, well, because even in like I was saying, in the Islamic paradigm, when people have specific names that are related to certain attributes of God, well, these people will naturally be of service, because in the Quran it says that it says that everything exists to serve Allah, or source, or whatever name, but everything does exist to serve source. So when you name someone with intention, or when you name yourself with intention, you are now the service of source in this specific way. and
Mm.
and so even if you choose a name beyond that which you were given, and a lot of times they match too. It's weird. Even like our parents' name was right a lot of times, but it varies. But
Mm.
but when you choose that name, you want to make sure that it's tied into that which is your purpose, which is your heart, so that you can be in sync, going forward. I just wanted, for the sake of time, kind of get to these last two questions we have here. Um, and Bliss had made a wonderful segue, because he was talking about how he was feeling, uh, as opposed to knowing and playing his purpose when he wasn't. And the question we have here is, what have you seen a lack of the understanding of your purpose do? Like, what have you seen the lack of purpose or understanding of your purpose do in life?
Okay, I want to pedal back and piggyback on what Brother Ross said earlier and further elaborate on when one wanders aimlessly. Once you don't have a purpose, you're just like a wildfire in the forest. You have no direction, you have no sense of purpose, you have no goal, you have no incentive, you have no like direct drive. Like, yo, let's say for instance, yo, it's getting cold now. I want to get that whip. I'm gonna get that whip. I'm gonna save mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have something to motivate you. Once one doesn't have that, then it's like you're in limbo. You don't know what to do. You don't know. You don't really have that fire. You don't have that spark within yourself to make you want to do something. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a part of the duality. But once again, everyone has a purpose. Some find it later. Some find it sooner. But once one is able to identify with that, that's when everything, it starts to just play itself out for the best of that individual according to their journey.
How about you, King Ra? What have you seen a lack of purpose overstanding do?
I've seen what a lack of purpose do. A lack of purpose is dangerous, because a lack of purpose actually um it goes from the top down, and it seeps into your circle of influence. So what I was actually reading about, and where the superior man, is that he was speaking about a man who lacks purpose. It actually seeps into the family, and then the family can sense that lack of purpose, and there becomes a lack of respect for you. Like your significant
Oh,
other has a lack of respect for you. Your son and your daughter have a lack of respect for you. And not only that, once they get to a certain level in their lives, because you didn't have that example, they're also going to have a lack of purpose and a lack of direction. Um, I've seen what a lack of purpose do. It definitely you have no sense of priority. You are just dispersing energy, and then you don't know. For example, the quote, how people say, bro, money just burns my pocket, bro. I don't know where it all goes. Like, bro, you don't know where it all goes. Like, bro, where's your money? Where's your check? You just got your check Friday. It's Sunday, bro. Where's your dough at? Bro, I don't know where it goes, bro. Money just burned my pocket, bro. I don't even, because you have a lack of priority. You have a lack of purpose. You don't have a set of motivation
discipline.
to keep yourself disciplined. I feel like you have no sense of discipline. So what I've seen a lack of purpose do is, for example, what my purpose does, it definitely, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always going to keep myself as an example. For example, when we were discussing the topic for discussion for today, my brothers, my kings know that I was in the gym as we are having the discussion simultaneously because that's in line with my purpose, you know what I mean, and with my priorities and my routine. Even though I have a priority to this, I also have a priority to my purpose of empowering minds and my purpose of inspiring young black men. And so in doing that, I have to have a certain external visage because I want to inspire, you know what I mean? And so it just gives you a sense of well, to answer your question, I seen a lack of priority. You just disperse energy. You disperse energy. You disperse money. You disperse seed, and then you also influence everybody in your circle of influence negatively.
Mm.
Mm,
I love how you articulated and expressed that and broke that down, King. Give
yes.
thanks.
So,
And
how about you, King Bliss?
yeah, I agree with that last part that King Ra mentioned, where it's like, without your purpose, you're going against everyone in your circle, everyone around you, because it takes away, well, the lack of purpose takes away from the sense of oneness. I feel like if everyone's aware and living in their purpose, then ultimately they come to realize that everything is really connected. You start to realize that your purpose is intertwined with another brother's purpose. Like, you know what I'm saying? My purpose is
Mm.
intertwined with King Blue's purpose, which is intertwined with King Ra's purpose, which is intertwined with King Emerald's purpose, and all of our purposes come together to create one bigger purpose, which is cultivating leaders. And so a lack of purpose, I think, just puts you against everything else. It kind of just, it's like having a separate mindset I mean, as opposed to having a consciousness of like oneness and just being aware that everything is really connected. You just you're against and not for in a sense.
Of sorts,
It's like
I can attest to that.
yes.
You
It's
know,
almost like you almost get into like a depression because it's like
Mm,
what am I going to work for? What am I? You don't know what you're waking up for. You don't know what you're
mm,
breathing for. You don't
For
know
real.
how you put on your clothes. You don't know why. You don't know why you're with the woman you're with. You don't know why you can't look people in the eye. You don't know why. You don't feel attractive, you know what I mean, because you are not attractive on a soul level, you know what I mean.
Mm.
You can be physically attractive, but you are not attractive. You don't feel that way. um
Mm.
whew,
Magnetically.
well, you know that purpose, understand, inner under overstanding your purpose is all about having your life make sense. Because
mm.
if it don't make sense, then it's nonsense.
$8.
That's straight up, like it's straight up nonsense. So I could say that what I've seen people, because you don't have a lack of purpose. You like we have a lack of understanding or understanding our purpose. That's what
yes.
Mm.
that. So what I've seen the lack of understanding or overstanding someone's purpose. I've seen people like working at a job that they don't like for years and years and years, and then putting their energy because of this lack of awareness, putting their energy behind someone who does know their purpose. You know,
Mm.
and they end up working in a system that is not feeding them but actually depleting their life
Training.
force. They become batteries.
Hmm.
so
Ooh.
so
Man,
this is about having yourself charged with the electricity and the power of purpose. Once you know it, it opens up so many realms of how you can express it, you
Right.
know,
Mm.
which is definitely what we teach. So, lastly, last question before I think it's hitting an hour. But what teachers, books, or peers inspired you to have a purpose? So if we could like keep it kind of brief,
Yeah.
I would ask you, Blue Lotus, if you don't mind, what
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, indeed. So I have an older brother. He's the one that actually initiated me on my path in this lifetime.
Mm,
But he basically provided me with the fundamentals of this human experience, with the behind the scene information that I will not disclose um, due to certain circumstances. But I was provided with a metaphorical blueprint of what's really going on, and from there, you know, you give me an inch, I'm taking 10 miles, and he initiated me on my path. And then from there, I found out about angelic communication, divine synchronicity, healing crystals, the metaphysical realm, Palo Santo sage, you know, all these things that are a part of the universe, the universal expression, you
Mm.
know, and extensions of us and why we're here. So he's the one that basically gave me the base foundation of my purpose, you know,
Mm.
and that was, yeah, he still is one of my biggest influences. Shout out to him. And um, How to Make a Good Brain Great by Dr. Amen.
Mm.
The Oxygen Therapy by Dr. Ed McCabe. Hidden Inventions. I have a lot of books to name, but some to research. But yeah, but you know, once you have that like certainty of another reflection to basically be like the battery pack in a manner of speaking, metaphorically speaking, to give you that charge that you need to really like initiate your purpose, like give you that shove, like with little kids when like, oh, you want to go down the slide, and like, oh, I'm scared, no, I don't want to go down the slide. It's like, you just push them, like, oh shit,
Done.
okay, I'm down the slide. You feel me? Like, so once you have that, you gotta trust that, especially when you know, like, yo, I'm here for another reason. Like, yo, just go for it. But yeah, that's definitely my influence and other sources.
Okay. So how about you, King Rob? Briefly, if you could share with us what teachers, books, peers inspired you to understand
So
your
I
purpose.
want to share and just add value straight ahead and keep it brief. The books that gave me clarity of purpose or that gave me inspiration to know my purpose is first Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, talking about definitiveness of purpose, and that is how and then also purpose is how you exist to serve. And so I realized that you prosper financially by the quality and the quantity of your service. You also, and so realizing that was the formula for compensation on a financial level, I realized that it would be financially um, the word prosperous or to actually have a purpose and know my purpose and definitiveness of purpose because I could utilize that formula for compensation. The second book that I delved into was Start With Why by Simon Sinek. I'd watched his video on talking about this idea of the golden circle, how great leaders inspire action. He talked about that in a TED talk. That is a definite book that you want to read if you want to get closer to your purpose and getting that catalyst to finding your purpose. Third book I read was The Wealth Choice: The Success Secrets of Black Millionaires by Dennis Kimbro, who also wrote The Think and Grow Rich: A Black Choice. It is a composite study of 1,500 Black millionaires, their principles and their habits. That also gave me a battery in my back in terms of finding my purpose and clarifying my purpose. And the last one I want to talk about is We're the Superior Man by David
I was
Data.
about to say.
Definitely, if you want to learn the divine masculine part of self, you also want to learn the divine feminine and your role within that polarity. That's definitely a book you want to read. And the last book I just shared that in terms of it would be Find Your Why, another book by Simon Sinek, the same one who wrote We'll Start With Why. This is a practical guide for discovering purpose for you and your team. Definitely delve into that.
Mm. Thank you very much.
All right, give
Uh,
thanks.
Sharing though.
yeah, he gave a
Right.
library, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. The
Y'all
Aquarian librarian.
yeah.
Water
He pull out
parent.
the whole Akashic records on us real quick.
Right.
On deck. On deck. Like, hold up.
So
Mm,
CD Bliss,
yes, yes.
what what's
I have
up? What,
two books that I want to mention that definitely inspired me to yeah to become aware of my purpose. So the first is Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. It's a really quick read, and what it helps you become aware of is just your strong points. You know, like how do you learn? Is it by visual, audio, or by writing things down? You know, little things like those, and becoming aware of things that other people have pointed out to you over time. Like, you know, maybe this is really something you're good at. You know, like if you look great aesthetically and you keep getting asked the question, "Are you a model or do you model?" Like maybe you should consider it. You know, like taking some pictures like that. And the next book is a novel. It's The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And in there, you know, the purpose is called personal legend. You know, and there's a story of a young man, and his personal legend or his spiritual journey was really finding his hidden treasure. You know, that was what he chose, you know, which is kind of like a really great metaphor.
Symbolic,
Because,
yes.
you know, it's within you, you know, and yeah, those two books right there definitely inspired me towards realizing my my purpose, which is emanating bliss.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to straight up two of those books. I'm
Mm.
gonna have to straight up just borrow real quick because those I read myself. Two of those books. One of them is of course and of sorts Think and Grow Rich
Yeah, yeah.
for sure.
Facts.
Um, and yes, The Alchemist as well by Paulo Coelho was one
Mhm.
because it's such a beautiful journey that he has to undergo. And I don't want to ruin the end, but the
Right.
end answers the question of what purpose is and
Mm.
where, and especially where it can be located. So, but that's
Mm.
enough of that.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. But just
Mm.
kidding. So and then the last book that I did want to mention is Thoughts to Build On by M.R. Kopemeyer.
Hmm.
Thoughts to Build On by M.R.
Mm.
Kopemeyer, which is actually a free PDF. Inshallah, I think I'm gonna if I find it, I'll put it at the bottom of the for those YouTube viewers, I'll put it at the bottom of the video. Um, it's one of those books that you can just open up to any chapter, and it's only a couple pages, and every page that it has on there has a wealth of information on almost any subject. You know what I mean? That I don't even know how he did it, and it's such a small book.
Hmm.
So thoughts to build on, small but very powerful. Now, in regard to the people, I have to say, of course, there's been many people along the way from my, you know, my mother, my father, of course, naturally. But there was one man by the name of Kevin Chocolate Porter. Well, Chocolate, you know, is actually a dance legend within the locking community. And he actually came and pulled me to the side and gave me the system. Told me, yeah, exactly. He gave me the system of purpose, and asked me who am I, why am I here, how do I exist to serve, and I couldn't answer the question. And he said, "Isn't it funny? I could just pull you to the side and just you don't know." He said, "You look around. It was a sea of people." He said, "I bet you I could pull somebody else. You know what I mean? They not know it." He said, "So if we don't know our purpose, we walking around absolutely comatose." I was like, "Whoa,
Hey,
you don't know who you are while you're here." And
Mm.
and my grandfather always said, you know, the saddest person in the world is one who does not know who they are. So I guess with that being said, we could wrap this up, y'all. It's always a pleasure. And anybody who gets it from this video, if you put in the code purpose, um, and you can send it to the email below, and you will have a 20% off discount on a one-on-one purpose course with yours truly. For those interested. So
Beautiful.
without further ado, um, you know, Bliss, Ra, y'all could play us out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Strum away, my brother. Yes, 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 yes. Beautiful. And that concludes another episode of City Sultan. We trust that you've enjoyed. Until next time.